Hey everybody, today we're going to be showing you how to img_3032.mov. You might not know this about me, but I don't have a computer anymore. It got taken away from me a long time ago and I haven't been able to get it back. This means that the only time I get to use a computer is when I go to the library, which is fine by me because I mostly like it at the library. There are plenty of cool books and CDs in there, and there are big chairs that I get to sit in. Sometimes the chairs are wet, but sometimes they aren't. 'Tis the luck of the draw, really. When I use the computer at the library, I can only look at approved sites. Sites is short for websites, just so you know. The librarian gives me a printed list of approved sites whenever I sign up to use the computer for 6 minutes. You can only sign up for 6 minutes at a time, 10 people per hour, and then, if you're lucky, you can get another 6 minutes during the next hour. The rules are strict. The librarian is stern but fair. The librarian is hairy but beautiful. When it's my turn to use the library computer, I usually check all of the sites on the approved sites list as quickly as possible. Remember, I've only got 6 minutes to do so, and if I don't make it to the bottom of the list, I'll have to wait until the next round. If I have time, I check out videos on one of the video sites I'm allowed to look at. It's sort of like YouTube, but you can't search for normal keyword phrases. The video site doesn't allow anybody to name their videos when they upload them. It just keeps the original file name as the video title, and the collection of videos I'm showing you right now are some of my very favorites from the img_3032.mov series. There are a ton of videos in this series, but a lot of them are really gruesome and scary. Most videos I've seen are pretty brutal and explicit. They are not the type of videos that you can usually find on websites like YouTube. I'm not sure why the librarian only lets me look at videos on this site when so many of them are truly horrifying. Maybe that's the point. Maybe she's trying to teach me a lesson. I don't know, and I'll probably never know because I'm scared to ask. I get nervous around beautiful, hairy librarians. I can't help it. It's just part of who I am, and I like myself for the most part, so I'm not going to try to change me. If she were to get to know me and fall in love with me and want to change me, then maybe I'd be open to the idea. But who am I kidding? She probably doesn't even know I exist. She never smiles when she sees me. She barely even looks at me. She's really, really old. Maybe she can't see me. I'd be alright with that though. That might work in my favor now that I think about it. My looks have always been a hindrance. I have not had a great deal of experience with dating or love, and I believe that's due in no small part to my weird face and scrawny limbs. I wish I were a rich muscle man, but I don't think that's in the cards for little old me. I think I'm destined to be a greasy puke my whole life. But if the librarian can't see me and doesn't care to look at me, then maybe that doesn't matter. Maybe she can fall in love with who I am rather than what I look like. I'm not saying that it's bad to be attracted or repulsed by somebody based on their looks. I'm not a hypocrite. I judge people based on how beautiful they are every second of the day. If the librarian wasn't so strong and hairy, I probably wouldn't be attracted to him. But that's not all I like about them. I'm not super shallow or anything. No more shallow than the next person, at least. Sure, the librarian is basically a perfect physical specimen in mine eyes, but I also like them for their smell. Even if I never saw them, I think I could probably still fall in love with them based on the aromas they produce. I don't think they wear a fancy perfume or even deodorant or even use soap now that I think about it. I think that their meat, their skin, just has an odor that I find truly enchanting. It's tough to describe what they smell like. Have you ever found a turtle at the Grease Creek that was still a little bit alive, and then later that same day you found 2 frogs and one of them was still a little bit alive too? So you took the live frog and turtle back home and you snuck them into your room and you put them in a Ziploc bag with some pieces of salami and cheese, and you put the bag under your mattress, and when you checked on them the next morning, they were both dead and exploded because they'd been under your mattress and you slept on them and you thought they'd be fine because turtles have shells, but apparently this was a soft-shelled turtle and frogs don't have shells at all. And when you opened the bag, it smelled so strong that you blacked out and woke up at the hospital. Has that ever happened to you? No? Well, it's happened to me, and I've spent most of my life trying to find that smell I smelled inside that bag that morning, and I believe I may have found it with a librarian. She doesn't smell as strong as the turtle bag did, but there's something about her that is really similar. The sweetness, the acidity, the confusing stink. I love it. I can't get enough of it. I'd sniff her all day if she'd let me. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not a creep who follows around this 89-year-old librarian sniffing and snorting her all the time. I just appreciate the whiffs I get when she hands me the list of approved sites when I sign up to use the computer. There's nothing wrong with that, right? I can't go to jail for that, right? I'm so scared of having to go to jail. I had to go to jail twice before, and it is not a good place to be. Everybody there is mean. The food is really, really good, but it's just not worth it. The people are just so ornery and grumpy all the time. I don't want to go back there again, not even to visit. One of my biggest fears is going on a field trip to the jail, and while I'm there I accidentally break a law I didn't even know existed, and then I get tackled by 100 pigs, and they lock me in a cell with a bunch of mean people and they don't let me out. That sort of thing happens every day in America. I don't know where you live, but I live in America right now, and so many people are in jail. When I was there last time, the jail was so full that there weren't enough beds, and a lot of us had to sleep standing up in the toilet. It was horrible. It was so hard to learn to fall asleep while standing in a toilet, but the worst part was that once I learned how to do it, I couldn't fall asleep without standing in the toilet. So that's how I have to do it now, even though I'm not in jail anymore. Every night I brush my teeth and comb my hair and say my prayers and wrap my feet in a plastic grocery bag and stand in the toilet in the dark until I fall asleep. It's so embarrassing. I can't have sleepovers or anything because then I'd have to explain that to everybody and they'd make fun of me. But who am I kidding? Nobody would come to a sleepover if I tried to have one. It's not even worth thinking about. It'll just make me sad again, and I'm not trying to be sad right now. I'm trying to have a fun time by watching these awesome IMG_3032.mov videos. These videos are so good. This one's one of my favorites. Look at that. Pretty cool, huh? It's okay if you don't think these IMG_3032.mov videos are that cool. I understand. It all comes down to personal taste. I don't claim to be some sort of movie critic or anything. I don't know about cinematography or set design or acting or any of that stuff. I just know what I like when I see it, and I like this. I'm a simple boy with simple tastes, and if that makes me a sinner, then so be it. So be it. So be. Do you remember that drink, Sobe? That was so good, I bet. I wasn't allowed to have it because I wasn't allowed to eat or drink sugar when I was a kid, and even though I could probably drink some of it now since I'm the boss of me, I wouldn't do it because there's a lizard on the bottle and I don't eat lizard. You might think that the lizard is just a logo, but let me ask you this. Why would Sobe prominently display a big ol' honkin' lizard on their bottles if they didn't contain at least a little bit of lizard extract or something? It doesn't make sense. Yeah, if you look at the ingredients, it might not explicitly list lizard milk or anything like that, but the government made a rule where each food and drink can have one hidden ingredient that they don't have to list. Look it up if you don't believe me, but that's 100% true. What do you think natural ingredients means? Or what do you think spices means? If they weren't trying to hide something, they would just list what each quote-unquote natural ingredient or spice is. Cowards. The world is full of cowards, and I'm sick of it. If it were up to me, the world would be a whole lot different. For one, Sobe would list exactly what sort of lizard urine they use in their green tea. For two, the librarian and I would be married, and we'd live in an awesome treehouse that I saw a picture of once. I saw it when I was using the library computer, and I printed out the picture and secretly left it on the librarian's desk to see if she would see it and think it was cool too. But I never got a chance to see if she even saw it because I put it on her desk when she was in the bathroom taking a fat dump, and by the time she came out, somebody else had found the picture and had blown their nose in it. I remember that super clearly because there was a really bad cold going around the place where I live at the time, and there was a huge shortage of facial tissues, so people were blowing their noses in whatever things they could find. I saw people blowing their noses in magazines, dollar bills, big old leaves from a tree outside, a baby's bonnet, a handful of a stranger's hair, and so on. That was a weird season. I stayed inside for most of it because I didn't want to get sick and have to blow my nose on a curtain and get in trouble and go to jail. I thought it smarter to try and just avoid anything that could send me back to the slammer, so I stayed inside. Anyway, my time at the computer's almost up, so I'll have to say goodbye for now. I hope you enjoyed seeing a few of my favorite IMG_3032.mov videos. These are really special to me. I don't share them with just anybody, so please don't make fun of me or the videos. I'm not trying to say that these are better or cooler than your favorite videos. I just wanted to share something with you, that's all. Please don't be mad. Please don't hate me, please.